Good afternoon, everyone. I just started again without my mic. I keep forgetting to put it on. It was 12:41. Now it's 12:44. The Hangman and the Four of Cups. The grounding, integrating, and mastering of love, especially receiving it. It is a day of peace, quiet, and stillness. I was outside grounding this morning doing a little bit of video, and there were no birds and no bugs other than a green fly who landed on my forearm and had a conversation with me for about 2 or 3 minutes, literally. And other than that, there was no movement of the animals outside, just very quiet and peaceful with the sun breaking through the clouds, so the crowds might be it as well. And then when I was at the sink talking to my son on the phone out back, I saw the brightest red cardinal I've ever seen. The color was so vibrant, and the cardinal literally looked like he had a mask on, like a raccoon. They looked like dark shades, like sunglasses. It was so cool. And I wasn't able to get a picture of them, but yeah. And also, as I was doing my my reading this morning, there was a squirrel that went into my pot. I'll show you the picture of that because I definitely captured them. So let's first go ahead and take our deep breath. I want you to take 3 deep breaths, getting that oxygen into every cell of your body. You might want to picture a white light coming in through your crown, wrapping it around your heart, and allowing that light to diffuse out through your chest into your limbs, your arms, your legs, and your head, and then allowing it to diffuse out through your chakra layers, your auric layers, and then out through your home, your neighborhood, as far as you want it to go, or as close as you want to keep it. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath. Another deep breath. And one more deep breath. And so be it. Sending lots of love and blessings out to everybody. Hope you're having a great day. And thank you so much for being with me. Okay, so this profound read, I did it a little bit differently than I normally do. I took 4 decks and I wanted to deal 10 cards. So I had 10 piles of 4 cards each with the underlying energies. So I was literally numbering them 1 to 10. And I'm going to read it to you as it came out of me. It was very profound. I'm going to show you just the picture of that first so it doesn't get confusing, and then I'll show you the other pictures when I'm done with this read. All right, so this is the initial 10 piles of cards that I put down. It's the Animal Spirit deck, and you see them here in the underlying energies, the Animal Spirit deck, the Kipper deck, the Lenormand Reverie, and then the Gilded, okay, in 10 piles. And then I pulled 11th card for whatever reason, and there it is, the Truth. And then here is my little squirrel in my pot just outside my window here, burying his nuts. Okay. And then we have the, I pulled all 10 piles apart for you so you could see all of the cards there. Okay, so that's the 10 piles. And we'll go into the other pictures when I'm done with this. Okay, so this was at 9:33 to 37 when I dealt the cards this morning. The 9 of the Hermit, the 33 of the Christ vibration, through the 37 of the King of Cups, which is unconditional love. The 33 is also the 7 of Wands, standing up for oneself, which also came out as one of the cards in the read. So the message of the day, 4 decks, 10 cards, or 10 piles, and then the underlying energy, which was the underlying energy was the dear one, right? The sweet dear one, the graceful dear one, with a message from the wise guides about those suffering in silence, or stressed out, or purging, or not sleeping well, whatever it is for you. Like Rapunzel in the tower, the E tower, or the 5D tower, I'm going to clarify that for you a little bit. With the brown wise old owl, when you actually have two white owls on call, okay? So again, even with the owls, there's the dark and the light. The dark one that came up in the movie about connecting with the ETs and being abducted. And then the white owls, right, of the wise ones and your guides when you need a serious talk with someone. So the first pile, the first card out, was the Graceful Gazelle. And the gazelle is a deer with two horns on their head. The deer one with two horns. The masculine versus the feminine, because isn't the masculine usually the animal, right, with the horns on their head, or the lion with their mane? There's something extra there, some more colors as opposed to the feminine, more on the outside as opposed to the inside. The gift of hope of the Graceful Gazelle, the healing, the dreaming of the stars and stardom, the galactic friends, and yet here the Empress was reversed. And why? Was that supposed to be lack of abundance or an unhappy Gaia? The 3, which represents the Empress and abundance in Gaia. And what is the reflection of the 3? It's the E. The E and the 3, which Cryon actually says 8 is the number of abundance as opposed to the 3, because abundance is the 8 of incorporating the 3 and the E together, the 2 zeros, right, doing the dance of the masculine and the feminine, the abundance of the sun, right, which is the only source of energy outside of ourselves, and then the central sun, which is source, which comes in from within ourselves. The sun outside of ourselves, which we gain nutrition from, and so does Gaia, but our real nutrition is from the central sun within. Gaia outside, and the sun, which is 3 in the tarot deck of the Empress and the 19 of the sun, the Empress inside. So the Empress was coming up reversed because it was reflecting the Empress going within with the central sun of source. So the reflection, I always tell you, from the card 19 always comes up as 91 plus the 3, which is reflected as the E. So if you were to take the 3 and manifest it four different ways of reflecting, side to side and up and down, you're still going to have only 2, because the 3 and the E are the same in 2 directions. So you have the E and then the 3, and then the E flipped vertically is still the E, and the 3 is still the same 3 vertically, all right? So you have those 2, and those 2 together become 2 8s. And if you square the 19 of the sun, the reflection of that is the 91, except the 9 would be reversed the other way and would look like a P, which would then be P1, which would be pi, or the circle with the line down the center, reflecting perfect balance. The central sun of the circle of pi with the line drawn through it. And then the 19 vertically reflected becomes 1D, which is ID. And then the 91, or the pi, becomes the pi becomes the 61, which is the 7 of Swords, of taking a risk, which just happens to be the year I was born. But again, also can be BL or BI, no matter, what messages you get through with those different symbols, it doesn't really matter. But the identification of the 61 of taking a risk to love yourself first, which comes up in the cards in the numerology deck, and the 19 reflecting as pi, again in the square of 19, ID, 61, and PI, which then I was saying, okay, so if PI is source, the circle with the line down the middle, reflecting perfect balance, then what is phi? So I did the FI in a square, which comes out as the square with a line through it, from corner to corner, the 2 triangles that come together, which become the diamond, okay? So the pi was coming up as the circle with the line through it, and the phi is coming up as the square with the line through it, the 2 triangles, okay? So Fi equals Pi, but without closure, right? Because the P is closed, the F is not. Fi equals Pi, or pi, phi and pi, but pi without closure, right? Because pi is our 3D energy, whereas phi is going outside of that, right? Expanding past the 3D without closure. There's no safety pin here. In my safety pin example of the back of the safety pin being the masculine, the pin being the feminine, the two circles at the bottom being the masculine and the feminine, where they switch from one to the other, and then the housing up top is the closure, right? So in my safety pin housing, there's no housing here. There's no head to keep them sealed together. Or there's no head or mentation there, right? There's no left brain thinking. It's all about the right brain now with the phi energy. So again, my safety pin, the housing's been taken off the head. The little pin, there's no way to keep it closed, right? There's no vacuum there. It's just completely open. The divine masculine and feminine circles at the bottom of the pin. So we have the Fi and Pi, and when you mush the Fi and Pi together, you get the capital letter A. But the Fi is the A, but there's a gap, there's an opening, like a labyrinth. There's always a way out with the Fi, the Phi, the maze, the amazing grace. Number 2, and by the way, Taurus was coming up in the first pile. The second pile was the moth to the flame, housing the power man from Mars and his frustration, the inability to understand with the mind, not aroused, not excited, the 3D world of what is abundance. Don't fence me in. The Sagittarius seeking freedom, and I always get Saggy and Mr. Ed as God energy. So why is the graceful horned deer upside down? Why is the graceful horned upside down old lady with gifts and light sitting pretty? The power man asks himself. And the power man of control, why are they drawn magnetically to this feminine energy's home when they don't want to be fenced in, right? Because this is the Sagittarius energy saying, don't fence me in, that energy of God, of being all free. And so the energy of the gazelle with GA was coming up, and then of the MO, which was the moth, right? So GA and MO were coming up as Georgia, peach, and the Missouri. And I didn't know what Missouri's state symbol was. And this is right here is where my squirrel started digging into my plants outside the window at 10:04, which was interesting because my video I did this morning of the nature was also 10 minutes and 4 seconds. So 10:04's message received about the silence. I'm burying his nuts in my flower pot, digging up the dirt. The underground hiding place, right? A very secure place under the dirt. Gaia is a very safe place to hide. So I was guided to Georgia and Missouri to look up their different symbolisms. Why is of Georgia peach? There was no fruit for Missouri, so there was no one-to-one reflection of the peach in Georgia. But Georgia is the peach, the crop was the peanut, the mineral was staurolite, the gem was quartz, and they called different things depending on the state. So in Georgia it was a gem, but in Missouri it was a rock. They both had the honeybee, which was interesting, and also the frog for Georgia, the whale. I read rose quartz, but when I went back it only said quartz, so I don't know where I saw rose quartz, but that was the first thing I saw. Also the sweet onion, azalea, and the Cherokee rose were the flowers, the turtle, and the oak tree for Georgia. For Missouri, it was the pawpaw tree. There was no fruit, but the pawpaw tree is a fruit tree. And the Missouri mule, the Missouri state on their license plate says, show me state, show me. And the Missouri's bird is the bluebird, whereas the Georgia's bird is the brown thruster. And Missouri, the square dance, their rock is the Mozarkite, which is from the Missouri Ozark rock. And also the galena, which is a lead, is where lead comes from. It's the main ore of lead. Also, they both had turtles. The Missouri one had the box turtle, and their flower was the hawthorn flower and the dogwood tree. So then I put GA and MO together to see what that word meant, gamo. And it means spoiled or to become spoiled, but it also means gamma, as in gamma rays, or conflict, trouble, confusion, disorder, excitement, and noise, and also a fallow deer, which is a deer that has antlers like a moose. They're really big. It's like a roe or red deer one, and there's that red coming up from the Cardinal this morning, the fallow deer. A spoiled, confused, conflicted red roe deer one with moose antlers, right? It's like their antlers are too heavy for their head. And then with Delaware coming in, because then D came up from, the deer, all right? So D for Delaware, GA for Georgia, and MO for Missouri, the deer, the gazelle, and the moth. So D-gamo came up, which can be gamo, which we just defined with the D in front of it, so of the gamo. But digamo coming up was digame, and D-E-G-T ended up being the final word that was defined, which means to burn, to be consumed by fire, to be hot, to be on, to be in humid conditions, to light, and to be in a hurry. The result of gamo, or conflict and trouble and confusion and disorder, right? A lack of balance there. So gamma is coming up, gamo is coming up as that lack of balance. And then digamo is of that lack of balance comes the burning, the consummation of fire, the light, but also to be in a hurry. So it's like the polarity of the light and the fire, right? Of being too high vibrational, where you get too excited, and then too low vibrational, where you burn to death, basically. So it was very interesting the way that was coming up. And by the way, today's the 31st. It's the last day of the month. It's also the mid-energy of the moon cycle. And the 31 is the 5 of Wands. The day adds up to, where are we, 39, 41, 42, 44. So 44 is when we started our video, and today is the 44 of that 4 of Cups, which also in the Divine Triangle, the numerology book, is the Atlas Way to the World energy. It's the energy of the social worker. So that's coming up as well for some reason now. So again, the 31 of expansion and conflict, and the 44 of the 4 of Cups, but also the grounding, integrating, and mastering of love, and carrying that weight in a loving way, because it's no longer heavy, it becomes very light. So then we have the time here was at 10:44 again. The 10 of the Wheel of Fortune, the 44 of the 4 of Cups. And then the third pile here with the frog, despair, the fish, and the 8 of Pentacles reversed. Leapfrog was the first thing coming up, referencing the quantum leap. The green fly that sat on my arm for a few minutes to talk to me. Before the rain. In between states of the frog becoming the prince. The man in despair, which breaks down to day pair of the flow of abundance that seems to elude him on the journey of energetic exchange and overwork or what's not working. The abundance in taking your power back by going within and using your own divine feminine. And Pisces was coming up with number 3. Number 2 was Aries and Scorpio coming up. Number 3 was coming up as Pisces. Number 4 here was the bee, the honeybee, the sweet spot. The seal of Delaware coming up here again. The DE adopted on January 17th, 1777, so all 1s and 7s. The current seal is actually from 4/29/04. 12/07, 1787, so again 87 with the harmonic convergence, wasn't that 87? The first state to ratify the U.S. Constitution. The diamond state, the strawberry, the blue hen, the American holly tree, the peach blossom flower, and again this is the state of Delaware, the ladybug, Sillimanite, the weak fish, the horseshoe crab, the gray fox, and the first state, right? That's on their license plate. And the energy came up with Virgo in number 4. Butterflies on path in energetic exchange through the tree on the rainbow bridge where the birds of a feather flock together, coming out the other side, but seen as crazy or over-isolating, nesting, hibernating, or a long winter that's coming. Okay, that was number 4. The honeybee, remember the bee and the honeybee, the sweet spot, along with the butterflies here in transformation on the path. And the energetic exchange through the tree on the rainbow bridge where the birds of a feather flock together, coming out the other side, but seen as that hermit reversed, over-isolating, nesting, but coming out. Perhaps a long winter. And I said this past year was a long hibernation, that they didn't actually come out of hibernation until the summer, in July. The number 5 pile here was coming up as the eagle, about to attach their talons to the egg, or wanting to retire with a nest egg. EA, in glee, the female occupation, with loving man of the establishment, religion, marriage, or traditional view of God. Societal norms, or Taurus energy here, not of the female working, and the male being the God-fearing or at home. And then the number 6 of the octopus and courtship and breakthrough with the 7 of Wands upright. My octopus teacher, learning boundaries with not thinking cap, but right brain rainbow cap on, an intuitive not cap, but the crown open and protected. Each cell with their own mind, but the main frame is intuitive, or in other words, your left side and right brain. The OC of octopus and the OCT of October and opus and of us, OP us, open US. So the courtship here was coming up, the octopus of opus and October, the courtship of Eddie's father, and a breakthrough of the sun bursting from the clouds, seeing both the rain and the birds in the sun, and the contrast as the beauty of it all, both the dark and the light. The CM was coming up here from the author of the cards, but the CM is the Christ and the Mary, and it was coming up as my father and mother, which I never thought of that, which was Constantine and Mary. And then the opus, which is a work of art, a master accomplishment, a work of God, a miraculous deed, of opposites, contrary, reverse, and September. The reverse of September, the sept. And here again, we're going from Virgo to Libra. The sept of the tribe, the clan, the family, the enclosure and the railing, the number 7. The septum, which is spelled S and then the ash of the A and the E, they're smushed together, and then the P, T-U-M. The enclosure or wall or fence. The septum are those walls of the heart and the nose that are very necessary. And then septentrional came up, which is a 7 plow oxen, which is like the chariot but using ox. And 7 of them, right? The humble hard workers. But the 7 plow oxen represent the Ursa Major and the Ursa Minor, the northern sky. And then September coming up as the northern, the sept of the center star of the north star, the cardinal points of north, south, east, and west, the cardinal point of the north, and the sepultura, the grave, the burial tomb, the North Star seen all year, circumpolar to the North Pole, and then the OP coming up of Ocean City or Ocean County, and the opus of this great work of art, God's miracles. In October, the courtship of Mr. Ed, Eddie's father, Mr. Ed bursting from the clouds of Sep's embers, September, the sept or family's embers, the family enclosure, the railing, the fence, the wall between the 4 chambers of the heart and the septum of the nose, protecting the breath and the heartbeat, the wall and the writing, that one doesn't work without the other. Graffiti, American graffiti, lit with contrast, co-entra, or an entry path, right? A dual entry path, just like there's two atriums in the heart. Two doors, two atriums. And the number 6 was coming up as a very profound number of the octopus teacher, going from Cancer to Leo, as well as going from Virgo to Libra. At 11:28 here, which is then justice, which is truth and balance, and the 28 of the twins, or choice of path, at 1:09 on the clock, which is the beginning and the end. And instead of saying 9:10, it's 10:09 going backwards. And it was just 25:30 on this clock, which is the Knight of Wands and the Four of Wands. The Knight of Wands going home. Have you lit the fire? Have you lit the fire if no one actually sees it? Seize the day. Octopus at night sacrifice for their children, dying to expand themselves, and at daylight a new dawn, to stand up, to be seen and heard, even if you don't say a word. Your light shines bright in the number 6. And remember, the number 6 actually comes from the word sex. The 7, it means 7 also. I'm sorry, not the 6, but the next pile, number 7, is the mouse, the poverty, the anchor, and the 10 of swords upright. The mouse, a not so dear one, small and vulnerable and misunderstood, perhaps a lot like Mary Magdalene, always looking to run and hide. Their sky is the dark rain all the time. That's their rain. Their rain is actually the rainbow light trying to break in and get through to them, to get through the fear. The meek, the orphan boy, the blind man, the anchored into being left for dead with no one to rescue them, but the dear one, the sweet, the innocent, the vulnerable and meek, the humble and unassuming, with nothing to anchor into, no grounding, no home, finding the betrayal and lonely to remind them, finding the betrayed rather and lonely to remind them of their own worth and their beauty. Like Ben the mouse, Michael Jackson's friend, and Oliver the orphan, and Slumdog, blind little man. Remember the little blind boy who was collecting money on the street? And yet affected was the big little man, they, the blind one, and the middle man, the one who's in between, the one that's just right, the slumdog millionaire, kept his feminine side. 11:38, which is justice and the Queen of Cups, and I was getting a big connection with that. Number 8, as the raccoon, the mature man, the power lady, and the Four of Pentacles reversed. The masked thief, just trying to find some food, that raccoon. Your trash is their treasure. The mature man and the power lady from Venus, Ra and Matu, which was coming up, was making me laugh because my son Matthew, we always called him Machu because he couldn't say his name right when he was little. He'd say Machu. So Matu is Machu, and then the Ra of the source energy and the coon of the raccoon. The coon is a sly fellow who plays the fool happily. They avoid the water though. They straddle it and noodle their way through. The raccoon is God's fool, or fool's ray. Fool's ray, Machu, which also is Scorpio, is coming up here. Matu means immigrant, asylum seeker, a lid, a door, and the forest. So in other words, this energy is not native to here. They're seeking the fun house, a safe place, the portal, seeing the forest through the trees, seeing the hole or portal through the portal, and letting go without a need to hold on, laying their cards on the table to fix and make amends no matter what, every time. The 8 of abundance, manifestation of dreams, build it and they will come. And this a lot has to do with us building a world where our ET friends can now come through the door and be in union with us as well. And again, the Scorpion is very, very profound changes. So again, here's this happy fool, right? The one who makes other people happy. How can that be wrong? And why do we call that foolish, right? So again, here's the play between the raccoon, and is the raccoon actually the thief, or is the raccoon that happy fool? And just dancing for our pleasure so that we can look at them and laugh and have a little chuckle about what they're doing in our trash. The mature man and the power lady, and the need for our one-on-one relationships to let go of what we're holding on to regarding what they did wrong, what we did wrong, whatever it is, to let go and make amends every time, to come back and hug each other and just say, I love you. That's all that's important. Abundance, manifestation of dreams, build it and they will come. The number 9 of the dragonfly, the mature woman, and the dice and the wheel reversed. The dragonfly is Dr. Agon. Agon, A-G-O-N, or Agon, is contest or struggle, conflict between the protagonist and the antagonist, which also means to go and depart. And Argon, which is AR, which is the reference of reflection of Ra, the atomic number 18, the third most abundant gas in the Earth's atmosphere, which is also coded as E938, which is E, September 9, and then 38 of the Queen of Cups. Doctor contests to fly, or in other words, they struggle to fly. Do I stay or do I go? The dragonfly mates in a pulsing heartbeat. For the mature woman is a risk in a twist of fate. For the doctor who struggles to fly. Number 10 comes up as the spider, bad health, the whip, and the 6 of Pentacles reversed. The spider is the spy and the dur. Dur is the door, the spy door, the outside. It's also to you, there, at the end of the journey, the skin and the father of the indication of stupidity. Of course that's there. The spy door at the end of the journey, that's then obvious to you then, of poor health and the rod and staff, the whips and chains, all due to imbalance. Duh. The truth was there all along, that there's no place like home. And number 9 came up as Libra. And number 10 also. I'm sorry, number 9 came up as Libra, number 10 came up as I don't know if that's Scorpio. It's I Spy. It's definitely very Scorpio-ish. I'm going to say Scorpio again. So there's a lot of Virgo. It's like this season, because Leo came up, Cancer to Leo, and then Virgo and Libra and Scorpio very profoundly coming up in this energy, since those are the signs we're dealing with right now. So the underlying energy at 12:04 was the Hanging Man and the 4 of the Emperor, the otter and the deer on top, the ones who are so sweet and innocent, with the crocodile right behind them. The deer coming up as the otter's left-hand girl as opposed to the right-hand man. The orphans community, a danger in disguise, with innocence bringing a message forward, sealed with a kiss. Where I just got, at that moment, I got a text scan about my bank, that there was something wrong with my account, but it was just a scam message. Thieves committed, so ye will create boundaries of spiritual guidance, your own knowing, having peace in your own knowing, that you are 2 wise owls, that the 2 of you are as one. There's no need for outside confirmation. Sometimes what looks good, like stars and magicians whose MO is to deceive, may not be good. And sometimes what looks bad, like deceit or hiding or getting up really early, the fear of the new moon, and those suffering in silence, purging up at night, may just be nurturing their inner child and clearing their wounds. Atlas dumped the Page of Pentacles, the perfect student, the wounded warrior. The star deceives through manipulation of what you see, where now you see it and now you don't. As the evil magician goes to bed with the brown owl, or illness, or sleeping with the enemy, in fear or not sleeping at all, or is the owl who's standing watch over his hostage, who never gets to see them at night at 12:17, the Hanging Man, and the Star. So there was your first message. There's a lot of profound messages within those 10 piles. And again, today is the Four of Cups and the Five of Wands. Expansion and conflict, but also the pursuit of happiness and games and acting. In grounding, integrating, and mastering of love, especially learning how to receive love. So I had a couple short little messages of the day before I get into the union read. And I was asking about Plum Island again, so we'll see what comes up with that. So I'm going to go back and show you those. I'm going to show you all the rest of the... All right, so this is the union read that will be coming up after I do these messages of the day. This is the Sirian Starseed deck. This is the main read that you see on the table in front of you, the 7-deck read. Again, the Sirian Starseed deck. And here's the first message I'm going to tell you now. And this is the Lenormand Reverie. And then this is the Kipper deck. So that's the second message of the day I'm going to give you right now. Okay? So here we go. And it's 1:20 on the clock. So 1, the 12, 1 of the Magician, 20 of Judgment, and then the 12 of the Hangman, and the 0 of Source Energy backing up the Hangman, which is the Jesus Energy template. So the first message of the day was at 9:14 last night. And the underlying energy was spirituality and peace. The first card out being the tree with the child and magnification of that, of the Power Lady's abundance and bridging burdens with the loving man in public at night, or perhaps out on a date with flowers or a gift, and a note perhaps about a nest or mail at the loving home, delivery, and things looking up. Social birds tweeting and choosing a path of lucky charms at Twin Towers with loving lady in the sunshine, with the loving man in a public meet, and key to freedom, cutting out the BS in the labyrinth of gifts and diving deep in unity, but also in writing perhaps, with a nesting couple and serious counsel of guidance, looking for an innocent as a group to experiment on, to find their true north, the religious institution with a cross to bear, or heaven on earth, or Disney World, traveling with true love and taking a gamble with Power Man to the mountain in a breakthrough, anchoring in rod and staff, or perhaps a job, but whips and chains where there's restrictions there, the poison snake or the poison apple left behind, riding the rainbow through the funhouse, the 4D rainbow, masks at work, cracking codes, with Fox looking back before crunching timelines at the Power Man's home, the dream home at the mountain, with the mama bear or powers that be in a breakthrough in dealing with petty annoyances, in making a commitment. All right, there's always one, one always comes with the other. The second message of the day, I asked about Plum Island, and I got a little bit about Plum Island, but the rest was coming up as general energy for you guys as well. So this was from 11:51 to 52, which is the 11 of Justice, Truth and Balance, but also the 51 and 52 of the King and Queen of Swords here. The underlying energy, as I kept getting Plum Island, I did meditate on it again, and I'm definitely getting a portal and a base there at Plum Island, and reptilian energy. I don't usually see reptilians, but I was seeing it looked like what would be a reptilian to me. They had 2 horns on their head. I don't know if all reptilians have horns on their head, but there was 2 horns on the being that I saw. The underlying energy was imprisonment. All right, so it's like a prison to be on Plum Island. The first card out, I was getting a prison work camp too. The first card out was occupation, and then courtship. So I was getting like a courtship, like a traveling judge and jury and housing, expecting documents from the courthouse. And again, there's been an ongoing issue about needing to clean up Plum Island. They can't sell it until they clean it up. And there's been like millions and millions of dollars now since 2008, I think it was, poured into Plum Island to clean it up so that they can actually move their research to Arkansas, I think, is where they want to go. So this could be a bill of sale, right? Documents from the courthouse or a bill of sale. The main mail, and this could have to do with mail, things you're sending to other people, or the masculine energy. The mail with distant horizons, but also the spaceship coming up, an unexpected income for a child or little girl, again, trafficking here, worth a great fortune, housed by the thieves, the den of thieves coming up here. A woman of high honor, which can be a political person, with slave labor in agreement with the main male, or also this can be the male service of the government, on the pathway to the privileged lady that the man actually thinks about. The little girl of great fortune with change regarding, perhaps this is more getting into the relationship of the masculine and the feminine. This could be a little girl of abundance, right, who may have been able to get a car and a house from their parents in leaving the nest. And then EVs were coming up, which are electric vehicles, which I noticed, of course, because my name is Ev. But the home for impoverished boy coming up, right? So there's the wealthy little girl and the impoverished little boy, or the orphan boy. And the man thinking about the power lady who can give these things to his children. Or maybe he's wanting to have a boy for his legacy. Maybe he doesn't have a boy and it wants a boy for his legacy to go on to. The thieves sending this boy to see the man with bad health before he dies in hopes of an inheritance, or the boy's father in the big house and is now dying and the little boy going to visit. The death of a salesman, expecting great achievements from this boy, a community message board or P.O. box, mail delivery, that can be a masculine delivery or literally mail delivery, the main male on path who hit the jackpot with unexpected income, with thoughts of her and his despair in dealing with a wealthy man with a daughter and concerned by older man with a son to leave his money to. And this also can be like that evil couple that's been coming up the past couple of days who's trying to scam a wealthy person. They could be, reviewing death notices to go to funerals, to get to know people who have lost their spouse who are wealthy to try to get in on their money. 1213 is the hanging man and the death card. The poor boy or false lady and man seeing a room at the inn, right, and wanting in on it. Watching death notices and unsuspecting widows. A death pit in a den of thieves. The poor boy on the journey or train as slave labor. The girl receives a letter from the courts about adjudication of the main male on path with sudden wealth and traveling with the privileged lady with a gift to her father or mature man, or she with her father's gifts, the mature man with great affection for the main female here, perhaps his little girl, who he married off to a wealthy man to make sure she'd be taken care of. Someone of official capacity, but the official man may be a scam, getting the mother's legacy through marrying the daughter, or parents set them up, but the father's concerned now for what he did. And this could be him, he could have a criminal past too, or just be doing something that's illegal or immoral, but no one actually knew about it, and now the money they thought they had, they don't have it all. Or literally, this is the father concerned for what he did in setting up the daughter, in debt, or dark connections that he had, and sold his daughter off to the highest bidder. And this could literally be a man who sold his daughter to sex trafficking, which a lot of the elite energies, I've heard stories about that, them actually doing that with their own children. The scam artist's family moving into the mature woman's home, or brother and sister pretending to be married and moving in with the widow to get her inheritance at 1229, or daughter brings home a man that the mother's not sure she can trust, or that man may have an ex with a son up to no good, plotting and scheming, even if he's okay. So if the daughter attaches to the man, she's also going to be attached to the ex who may be plotting and scheming. And Elon Musk was coming up again yesterday. So, and I don't know anything really about him other than what I've reported to you because of the downloads I was getting and then reading up on it to back it up. So I watched a couple of his videos that just were popping up on my feed yesterday, and I was getting very positive energy from him actually. And I said to you yesterday that I was getting that he was on the Y in the road, basically between, going between dark and light. You can't have the money that he has without being influenced by the dark. Again, Sam the Illusionist had said that he was making deals with the dark on Mars, but I wonder if that was like a bait and switch type of thing. You can't break it unless you're within it. Kind of like the Trump thing within the government. It's like Elon Musk is that same energy within the dark to break the patterns. because when I was watching his videos, I was getting nothing but really intense connection, so a very high vibration. But I also feel like he's a very sad man, and he's running from. A lot of what he's doing is running from himself, and I still feel like he's at the Y in the road. That he's either going to turn completely to become that family man as a he's a Cancer. To become that family man, which is interesting because Trump has a lot of Cancer in him too, even though he's a Gemini. Being very much that family man, and then Cancer also resonates with the United States, and turning away from any connections with the dark. And he may have gotten trapped into this dark energy, right? And may not have been able to find a way out. So that's very much the template of the Divine Masculines, of being trapped into something and not being able to find a way out, because they don't want to lose everything they have. And it's the same kind of energy I was getting with Elon Musk, but I was getting very positive connection with him, a very intense positive connection. So that's what I have from that. All right, let's see here. So I also, like I said, when I was meditating on Plum Island, I was getting, yes, there's a portal there. Yes, there's a base there. I saw a reptilian with 2 horns. And yes, this is a prison with bad people. Let's see here. Going back to the union read now, which I did yesterday. And give me a second, I went back too far. Where did I? Is today the 30th or the 31st? Now I don't even know. It is Tuesday though, right? So today's the 30th, not the 31st. Is that why I'm saying it wrong? I'm thinking the one I'm looking at. All right, this is the 29th. Came home. No, today's the 31st. All right. I guess I wrote the wrong date on the top. I'd written the 29th. I'm looking at the page and thinking it's the wrong union read, but it's actually the 30th. Okay. So I did the union read yesterday at 345. And that's a 3D, 4D, 5D reference. But it was for the 4, 5, 6D read. And the underlying energy was the indigo. The central energy was the 7 of Wands, again. And the 6 of Wands was the closing energy there. The indigo proposal to rise above drama of the journey with flame in hand, or a proposal for one to leave the group so the other 6 flames can reformat, and one can be the leader, a new leader, and 5 creators. Or this is literally one divine masculine and one divine feminine on the journey together here. So the one breaking away can be the masculine with their flame in hand going off on their own. The incoming divine feminine here is the 4 of Swords, the 2 of Wands in the middle, the twin flames, and the King of Swords as the third one. On break, on rest, or giving it thought, at the beach or near water, laying something to rest, or a proposal to take a break or vacation together with the twin flame King of Swords, or choosing a new path with the King of Swords. 1 crystal, 1 flame, and 1 sword, but missing that 1 cup, the new love, so close they can taste it. While the divine feminine in the 4D spotting the star up, or distracted by the stars up in the sky, the same rock exposed over the water in 2 different places, one smaller than the other, which is again reference to Plum Island next to Long Island, right? Plum Island is the small piece of the rock, and Long Island, they must be the same stone underneath the ground. One smaller than the other, one alone, the other with multiples, but still the same rock at its base, with water and waves beating them up with turbulent emotions, which means they're beating themselves up too, right? Because if you're beating up the other rock that seems like a separate rock from you, but it's actually the same rock underneath the water, if the waves are beating up the one rock, they're beating up the other, or you're beating up yourself when you're beating up the other rock. So again, it's that energy of turbulent emotions coming against the rocks, but they're hitting both of them. And it's the same rock when it comes to the core. And it just changed from 133 to 34, which is the Christ vibration, and then the energetic exchange, the sexual exchange between the twins. The divine masculine reflecting with outer light as the divine feminine with her inner light. The divine masculine well grounded out back as the divine feminine, that can reference Australia as well. The divine feminine out to sea, bridging with divine justice that is blind. See me, feel me, touch me, heal me. So Tommy's coming up, which is funny because I sat next to a Tom on the plane. The 5D here is the Queen of Pentacles, 7 of Wands, and the 10 of Swords. The divine feminine Queen of Pentacles with stiff upper lip, with finances perhaps fading, or a coin that's worth less than she thought, or taken and not wanting to admit it. The divine masculine 10 of Swords, ending pain, betrayal, or a painful end, and or massage, or messaging, or massaging ego, misogyny is coming up here, or laying down in the shower, or taking a bath, or he got taken. Or pins and needles, bridging by rising above the drama, the journey, those who would come against you, and your flame, with flame in hand. The cell block tango in the Middle East, or with Middle Easterner, a person. At 403, which is the Emperor and the Empress, and that's actually where my son called me. The 60 here is the Chariot, the 5, that's where I saw that really red cardinal out back. I don't know if there's a cardinal in the news, but there may be. Very bright, standing out from all the others, right? So that's coming up with like a mask on, or dark shades, like dark black sunglasses. The 6D here is the Chariot, the 5 of Cups, and the 8 of Swords. The divine feminine charging with all senses on board, traveling, ascending, moving, or manifesting oneness. The divine masculine hiding in the woods by the creek with their blinders on. And there's those sunglasses. Bridging by purging and identifying with each other. And there's that ID coming up from the message of the day I first did as well. The 4 at 409, which is the Emperor and the Hermit, crying over the 2 of Cups perhaps, not being able to look up at the 2. The outgoing divine masculine is the King of Cups, the reason of the Emperor, and karma. The Master of Rays karma, or tossing their false hand and opening their crown to the journey onward. Unconditional love for the Emperor's shadow, or the karmic's father with good news here, or no room for 2 leaders here as one leaves. The Emperor tosses in the towel. The divine feminine dealing with son or karmic male or both. Divine masculine dealing with a father or karmic male or both. The divine feminine of the 40, 2 of 1. The 40 is the Page of Cups, by the way. That's also 0 behind the 4 of the Emperor. And the Emperor often comes up as the Page of Cups, or with them, his inner child, that innocence. The divine feminine 40, 2 of 1, Master of Orbs, or message of love, of 2 of 1, as one, and mastering their thoughts and words. Blind men and orphans. As the divine feminine is grounding and integrating, being lost at sea, with the Queen of Pentacles on or after or manifesting a trip, move, or ascending 6 to 7 senses. See me, hear me, feel me, right? See me, feel me, touch me, heal me. So healing is coming up. But I was getting see, hear, taste, smell, feel, sense, and know. The divine masculine hermit reflecting with the lantern, right? That's the light outside of themselves. The hermit reflecting with the lantern, unaware it's being compared to the scales of blind justice in the portal, the gate, the atrium of the heart, laying down to get hosed off, and then hiding outside after seeking inside, bridging divine justice of rising and purging, tangoing with loss and regret, guilt and shame, and wrestling with the past emotions and games, the rise and fall as we go into the fall. The Divine Feminine with Gemini or Virgo and Cancer, and the King of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles on their side. The Divine Masculine with Virgo, Aries, and Aquarius on their side, along with the King of Cups. Between them is the Libra's rise and fall. Out of Leo into Virgo, the Virgin's gate, getting ready for the new students and the teacher's rating or rates. Okay, out of Leo into Virgo, the Lion's gate is the Virgin's gate, getting ready for new students and teachers' ratings or rates. And then we have the 46 here of the Six of Cups again, the innocent children hugging each other. And the horizontal pillars were coming up as 19, 17, and 10, which is the sun, the star, and the wheel. The vertical pillars were coming up as the 4 and the 2, and then the 4 again. So it could be 2 emperors and a high priestess, but it's also the 2 of cups and the emperor. The 12 of the hangman, the 18 of the moon, and the 6 of the lovers. The messages being the sun and the stars, and the destiny of soulmates, children, and innocence. The 2 of cups, right? The one-on-one relationship of the emperor, perhaps with his inner child, the page of cups. But hanging out at night with lovers, soulmate, or children. Only the highest vibrations and resonance here. So now we have the read in front of you, the twin flame read. We're going to roll the die as well to see what comes up at 140. So here we have the 40 of the page again with the Magician. And for the twin flames, all right, we have the 4 of, this is actually Jupiter, but it looks like a 4. And then we have the 8, which is the actual number here of the dance and abundance per Cryon. And then we have Pisces here. So Pisces is the end of the cycle, right? The dream weaver with 1 foot in this world and 1 foot in the other. The 8 of the dance between the masculine and feminine, the horizontal dance, as opposed to the vertical dance, which is represented by Pisces here. And then the Jupiter of benevolent energy, of the 4 of the emperor going into his inner child as the page of cups, which was referencing parallel to Elon Musk here. All right, so this read in front of you is the Syrian Starseed deck cut and dealt at 4:31 to 32, which is the 5 of Wands, to the 32, which is the 6 of Wands, and 31st is today. So the emperor dealing with a group or expansion, competition, conflict, the pursuit of happiness, acting, games, sports, all that kind of stuff. And the 32 of the journey of good news coming in, ending the war, getting attention and having followers, but leading the way by example. The completed read was done at 4:55, which is again the Emperor and the 55 of Truth, the Excalibur, the Ace of Swords. The major arcana here was the Wheel, the Great Wheel, or the Wheel of Fortune, the Abundance of the Empress card. And before the read was Transition of the Death card and Shadow, which is the Devil. And after the read, the Lovers came up. There was 1 Pentacle, 2 Wands, 3 Swords, and 3 Cups. The Queen of Pentacles, the King of Wands, and the King of Swords were the main players in the read. The Queen of Pentacles, King of Wands, King of Swords. Before the read, we had the Page of Pentacles along with the 9 of Swords. And after the read, we had 2 nines, the 9 of Cups, which is the energy of self-satisfaction, and the 9 of Pentacles, which is that sovereign energy, and the King of Pentacles as well, which can be a father and child there. And we also had the numbers, we had 999, so very much about endings and compassion and universal selflessness, the collective consciousness, but again, lots of endings and compassion, the end of the cycle. Along with double 2s, which is the Fool's Journey, the 22 of taking that leap of faith with an open heart, the 77 of the Sovereign and being sovereign in your power, taking your power back. We also have the 12 of the Hangman, the 78 of the 10 of Pentacles, right? The dream family, heaven on earth. The 27 of the Ace of Wands, and the 79 of the Pot of Gold at the end of the rainbow. The 910 of beginning again and again and again, keeping that high vibration and coming back to center again. We also had the 12 of the Hangman, the 26 of the Page of Wands, as well as the 27, the Ace of Wands, and then 89 of the Phi energy, which I went into earlier today. So the code line was all about environment and completion, and the number 9 coming from 1 and 8. 1 of the Magician, 8 of the dance, the strength, the abundance. the manifestation of dreams, and the 9 of completion. The code line, all about environment and completion. And again, the environment comes up as the green card, so the green environment. And the let connection, so I'm getting let it be, completing the let it be connection, which is Mother Mary, come to me, let it be, let it be. And the environment is coming up as envir, so we're dealing with viruses, and that's the Jesus Christ energy as well, and the virus. And onment, so being on, again, that fire being lit. The message is coming up as the Sophia, very much so, which is also the salt, and also can be the sulfur comes up sometimes, but salt and Sophia coming up here. The whale, and I was getting that too. My mom has a stein from graduation, from the bicentennial, from 76. And I have it, it holds my pens on my table here next to where I am right now. But that was also coming up as the cup holder, the stein, the Sophia whale, the coalfish also coming up, and the poem regarding these different energies coming up. The poetic use of words, of rhyme and rhythm and love and romance. The queen being clear and wise to take the twin and ace the great wheel. The destiny, where support is key in the 8 of Cups of walking away and within. It's like taking a step at a time into a green environment and completion, right? Coming full circle, ending a major cycle. So again, to see if you can fill that cup, to cancel, decline, or saw off, to oust, to displace the one destined, or the water wheel coming up again here, right? Which displaces water, and in clearing water for us. The support being key, and again, walking away or leaving, perhaps a sister, or a degree, or being weak, like going for a degree and then realizing that the school doesn't matter, but your inner talents matter more. So some could be leaving their work on getting a college degree, or a rank, leaving behind your status or rank here. The energy of the Sophia, to be or not to be, and Mother Mary, let it be. Okay, Sophia and the wiseness of the poem, the romance of words, the wise, clear queen, shouldering someone, or a father of someone, or a tale, which can be the tale on your end or the tale of your story, to speak of acing the destiny of the great wheel, support being key and walking away and within, like literature without Ra. So what are your words without God behind it, without source energy, because you are source, to buy a degree in a long, slow tale, literally getting the shaft in a weak step, because there's no source involved, though within the green environment and completion. So it's like making your outer world completely green, like not being tainted by what others say you need. And then what came up was my son's name, because when we were driving down to West Virginia, I was getting guidance on what his main guide's name was. What is his reference to himself? Who should he call in? And I was getting a word I couldn't pronounce, but it was like Lissare. It was like it was the energy of LSCR. And I was when I got it, I was saying it to him. It was like Lissar, Lissar. I couldn't say it exactly. But then they told me to call him Lit for short, to make it easy. So I'm okay. So I asked him which one he liked better. Do you like Lit or LIS or LIC? And he said he liked Lit. That's what he resonated with. So Lizar was coming up because I looked up the words that would come up as what I was hearing. And Lizar was the closest energy here, Lisare, which is to lyse, to burst or cut cell or cell structure or induce lysis. But it means to shine. It's like to burst the light out of the cell, to give out light, to register, to declare, to light up. So that was very sweet. So I'm giving my I'm giving my son his new nickname, Lit, or his guide to call on, but I'll be calling him Lit all the time. And he's very sweet. He is here to spread his light. He's the one who makes people smile, and when people doubt him, they're always surprised because he's such sweet innocence inside of him. So yeah, anyway, just a little plug to my little boy. So the international LISSAR Limited also came up, which is an international air cargo terminal. And also LISSAR with LISCIARE is to smooth or straighten out or to refine, to flatter, embellish, to miss, hit, or to pet was also coming up. So, and also the energy of Nisara and Jisara was coming up, because here's Lissara. So I don't know what Lissara is supposed to mean in that, but there's a third. So Nisara, Jisara, Gusara, I don't know how it's pronounced, and then Lissara. But also I was getting the name Sarah in here. Right? The energy of Sarah. The Sarah. Sarah, que Sarah. I'm getting Say-Ra. Sarah. All right? So it's saying say God, basically. To say God. The saying of God, the energy of saying God, and then the NE of saying God. Ni. It's any say of God. Nisara is any say of God. Jasara is the energy of saying God. And then Lessara is the saying of God. But there's that third. But it was coming up referencing from my son's guide. Sarah also came up in the online there with Penn Libraries, persons, Sarah Levins, I think it was. And that had to do with and then the library registries came up, but then the Liberian registry also came up. So liberation is definitely coming up here. And they quoted there on their site, LISCR.com, all flags are not alike. And then I started to read at 555, which is a whole lot of change and expansion. And I got a lot of connection right there with the Queen of Pentacles upright being the underlying energy. And underneath her was Transition reversed, Six of Pentacles upright, the Nine of Swords upright, and the Page of Pentacles reversed, and the Shadow reversed. Clinging, perhaps after death, sharing or settling out, suffering in silence, or dealing with a sister, or stressed out, or in need of help to detox. The Queen of Pentacles, free from the Hermit's light, or the Fool is free from the Queen of Pentacles, Virgo, with the light. Dumping emotional attachments, or EAs, that can reference Elizabeth April as well. No longer confused, playing hardball for frustrations, or playing with the big boys now. Scorpio reversed, Capricorn reversed, but Aries and Virgo upright here. Perhaps Scorpio met a Capricorn friend or a child in transition. Crazy kids out of control, or the Page of Pentacles reversed in need of help. Scorpio reversed and Pisces reversed here, with the Knight of Cups upright under a tree offering love, with the Queen of Pentacles ending conflict under the radar, or when feeling a failure, recovering from feeling left out or left behind. A long day and recovering from a journey, off their high horse, or no flash mob to welcome them, just those recovering. So again, this can be too, after getting really excited, there may be a letdown, right, after the excitement wears off. At 638, which is the Six of the Lovers, the 38 of the Queen of Cups, the Wheel upright here with Destiny, schooling the goose who talks too much, looking back at history of breakups and lack of affection to manifest big time with all their cards laid out on the table. Just like my cards are laid out on the table. Libra upright, Gemini reversed, and Virgo upright, or another Gemini upright, with flippers up. I was just getting flippers like Tommy in a pinball machine, so Tommy's coming up again. See me, feel me, touch me, heal me. And the flippers. And again, the dolphins coming up here, and the whales. And perhaps flippers coming up, specifically the show. Flippers up, and it's like being prepared for the pinball wizard, right? No more chassés and pliés, or somebody's done dancing around a broken relationship from the past. Grounding and making the past magically go away as the solar plexus is activated. Standing up to the teacher. No, you cannot checkmate me. I like green eggs and ham, and so be it. No one puts baby in the corner as spirit's connecting with me. The soulmate, and beneath it express your love, ending conflict or in losing battle of I spy, with the Emperor reversed and the trophy bride no longer with all the light. The Emperor reversed over the Queen of Wands reversed, holding her tongue, or her lashing out and being a bully, coming out about being all tied up in all sorts of positions, or no longer undressing in front of him, no longer on all fours, or allowing them to cuff them, giving away their power. Without goggles or rose-colored glasses, or unable to see well, so they all look good, a man who whips and ogles, inspects every inch, takes no ifs, ands, or buts, not a leg, boobs, or butt man. He's a soul man. He's a soul man. No more working out together, whipping them into shape, or releasing them on their own recognizance here. Or the Emperor reversed with the Queen of Wands reversed, verbally abusive and egotistical, or holding their tongue in their awakening at 6:59, which is the lovers, and the 11th hour of the 59, the Five of Swords, the war within. Creativity comes up with the number 3, again, of Gaia and abundance, and beneath that, new beginnings of the number 1 and the Magician. And that's 3 and 1 because today is the 31st. The present, being present to the lover, or a gift for them, ghosting as it was not working out, and blinded by the light, knowing and keeping it to themselves to stay sane, with the Queen of Pentacles reversed and the King of Cups reversed. And the Queen of Pentacles may like to be plain Jane or with no makeup, and the King of Cups reversed may be irresponsible, maybe exes or exit strategy, out the back when the lover checks in. And that can reference an energetic exchange too, like being caught off guard and then needing to escape really quickly. Or this is someone making an exit plan on how to get out of something, again, like Elon Musk. The King of Cups reversed, which could be Elon Musk, right? Because he's a Cancer, I think. The Queen of Pentacles is now upright, or a different Queen of Pentacles, because there's 2 of them, one's reversed, one's upright. A different Queen of Pentacles earth sign out in the cold, recovering from exile, with the Magician manifesting awakening, or free advertising, or free inspections. Being creativity at 7:04, which again, 7 was coming up because sept in September means actually 7. And the scepter, the 7 of the Chariot, the 4 of the Emperor, manifesting awakening or advertising or free inspections. Anyway, being creative about it. At 7:04 of the Chariot and the Emperor, perhaps traveling or ascending or moving. The Empress reversed in lack, exposing all, but again, she could just be going within into her higher self, not being the 3D Empress, but being the 5D Empress reversed. In lack, exposing all, or a Leo with kids or pets may be frustrated or unable to conceive of injustice of the King of Wands reversed, perhaps an abusive man, or sick and tired, with Libra reversed here. And that could be imbalance as well. Tripping up in energetic exchange, the wounded warrior suffering in silence or dealing with their sister, detoxing the patient angel, a higher love, the sovereign and sharing or independent and getting out or settling out, with the Queen of Wands reversed at war, with the Ten of Pentacles reversed, family, business, or community, dysfunction or loss at 7:09, the Chariot and the Hermit, which would be then Cancer and Virgo, and the Emperor from 7:04 was Aries. And it's coming up as this family, business, or community is a very unaffectionate bunch, with the Page of Swords upright, expressing bliss. And I'm losing my voice, and spreading the word. They are no longer bleeding out. And again, this is a child like saying nobody puts baby in the corner, standing up for themselves because nobody stood up for them. The recent past is the Two of Swords upright, knowing and floating in detox of chaos in order to move on or offer help or pay for bliss. Perhaps getting a massage or implementing a plan with the Six of Cups kids or soulmate, past life friend or lover, grounding, integrating a message of love. The Queen of Cups reversed, offering big love to the Page of Cups reversed, or both having been rejected by the Ten of Cups reversed, unhappy family, or in an ending of an emotional cycle of being over emotional, perhaps at night, or as Cancer, romantic, or being howled at, right? Cat calls. With Capricorn reversed and Cancer reversed, right? They're both on the same axis there of what used to be seen as the mother and father, but what I got in my download yesterday or the day before was something different than that now. Because we're not supposed to be in suffering, we're not supposed to be in fear or restriction, which is representative of the Cancer mother and the Capricorn father, right? Saturn being restriction and Cancer being in fear of their children, right? To protect them, or being overprotective. The 716 here of the Chariot and the Tower, and all water signs coming up here, breaking patterns of being dramatic or addicted, and keeping thoughts on an even keel. The foundation here being the Abundance card reversed, or the Empress in lack, or going within to be a 5D Empress as opposed to a 3D Empress, with the Page of Pentacles reversed and the Sovereign upright, and the Queen of Wands reversed, not sleeping, recovering from injustices, or Libra reversed, held over the Sovereign's head, or unfair, that child is doing better than them. The central energy is the Ace of Wands reversed, uninspired, frustrated, not aroused, excited, unable to conceive or conceive of a workplace of co-creation with no growth, or the King of Pentacles upright in separation or in heartbreak from their work or alignment, with the Knight of Wands reversed and the Empress reversed, who may be working there or out playing or clowning around, unable to walk or paralyzed by their passions and unable to function. Or maybe they're just ill, or they fell, or this is canceled appointments and the King of Pentacles is very disappointed. The challenge being destiny and a turn for the better. The Libra home or union or celebration and free to roam with loyal, pure friend, or to take a hike with them. Dumping a load, burdens, or responsibilities without options or running out of them. Dissatisfied driving, traveling, or moving, or ascending, and uncomfortable sharing their stuff or their emotions in order to settle out. The Two of Cups connection or love partners, leaning on the truth with star healer, dreamer, or dreams and healing, or Aquarius in a three-way with Hermit, showing them a patient or file. It's like they're showing them something. It doesn't have to be a three-way situation or person. It can be like a three-way situation where the third person is showing them, or the patient is the third person, or the file is the third energy there, or they're showing them something down below, or a table that's dirty at a restaurant, and the two are making a big fuss about it. With the Page of Wands reversed and the High Priestess reversed, frustrated at 729, which is the Chariot, and the Three of Wands being present to the moment, and not being frustrated, but here the High Priestess reversed may be frustrated with secret passion or the inability to connect with their own intuition. At 7:30, the Chariot and the Union, the Hierophant upright hiding from view, as the Knight of Wands reversed player is weakened by their connection, or Leo reversed, Sag reversed partners, with Taurus upright here, or marriage of the King of Wands upright and the Queen of Cups reversed, who are obviously not seeing eye to eye at all right here. Now is the King of Wands upright, the shaman in the quiet, perhaps in another world. The Star and the Knight of Cups, suffering in silence, or sister, with the King of Cups reversed. Behind them, perhaps being unsupportive, while the Knight of Cups offers love to the Star or healer, the King of Wands shaman, without peace and awakening, to offer of big love from a ghost or from God or from their dream girl. The King of Wands in connection with the Divine Feminine in the 5D, or Pisces reversed, or upside down world, or neighborhood at hand. Sweet judgment of the Star, who's egotistical, Emperor, out of control at work, or perhaps needing to step down, after a sudden event, epiphany, or sexual exchange, or in avoiding a disaster, with the Queen of Swords reversed Aquarius at home, with Hermit cheating in energy vampiring, with Hostage, and the Wounded Warrior Queen of Swords reversed, defensive or deeply wounded, rejected, vulnerable, or dissatisfied at home, with the King of Swords upright from the past, or in looking back at a romantic tie, a secret passion, and the Hierophant mediating two who don't get along. Soon here's the King of Swords upright, holding on in energetic exchange, unable to sleep or purging at night, with the Page of Swords upright, stepping up with backup if necessary to end the battle, with secret passion or Pisces reverse coming together, with the Knight of Pentacles, humble loyal servant, making an offer after implementing a plan to help, perhaps with a reunion or a party, or help pay for it if necessary. The twin flames seeing themselves as the Ten of Cups reversed, and ending a cycle that's past due, with the Knight of Cups upright offering love under the radar and coming clean or humbling a fire sign and an air sign, unable to respond to what they're hearing. The the Queen of Pentacles is upright as a whistle came out, drained by an announcement or wake-up call or judgment. She being defenseless to the energies and or attacks or feeling ganged up on the King of Cups reversed, who may be lying or divided or feeling guilty about it. Perhaps that Knight of Cups is doing what he should have done, the King of Cups, right? The Knight's doing what the King should have done, and offering their love. So the Knight of Cups is offering love, but the King of Cups may have conditions or issues. He may be completely detached emotionally. He could be over-emotional. He could be alcoholic. But it could be manipulative as well. But making an effort, retreat, and unrequited love come up here for the twins. But also then it is safe to love. And yes, this is your soulmate. You're calling in your soulmate. Around the twins are how they're seen as the Two of Cups. That connection of breaking patterns of unhappiness in families. The Hierophant commitment or marriage, religion, establishment, and near death as an angel or clinging to Sagittarius or a patient angel. Taurus upright and Sag upright here with Scorpio reversed. The challenge being the Eight of Cups. And the Scorpio could be between the Taurus and Sagittarius. Scorpio is reversed. The challenge being the Eight of Cups reversed and being uncomfortable, whether it's energies or emotions, and coming together with the High Priestess reverse, secret passion, or needing to connect with your own intuition, and the Knight of Swords reversed, perhaps can be verbally abusive, or totally the opposite direction of giving the silent treatment or holding their tongue, not using their intuition and holding their tongue, or secret passion and not knowing what to say. Completion comes up here, and environment, but even more so is spiritual career, personal growth, love, and forgiveness. Refusing to spill and withholding time, money, and effort. No more downloads or risky behavior with the King of Wands upright and the Queen of Cups reversed. The Ten of Pentacles reversed is that dysfunctional or family of loss of the family, business, or community, is with dissatisfied Knight of Cups reversed and the Nine of Pentacles sovereign upright, who's got everything they need except for someone to share it with. But the Nine of Cups and Nine of Pentacles often come up as the masculine and the feminine, but the Nine of Cups is reversed here and not happy with themselves. Or perhaps they are, and now they don't want to be single anymore. The sovereign defenseless to the drama of the King of Pentacles, or Chicken of the Sea is coming up here. Chicken of the Sea, sea, at night, or Cancer howling, or someone howling at the Cancer here with the wolves. Or the King of Pentacles howling at the last full moon. And I meant that as the last one that just passed, but now I'm getting like the last full moon because we're not going to have full moons anymore. I don't know how that's going to work, but 826 is the Eight of Strength and the dance of manifestation of your dreams. The 26 of the Page of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles upright, and the Empress reversed, ending an emotional cycle with Two Cups of knowing and being numb, frustrated and challenged by your destiny, with the King of Swords uncomfortable, with the King of Wands shaman coming clean, or refusing to take a risk. Dissatisfied Nine of Cups reversed and Nine of Pentacles sovereign, defenseless to the King of Pentacles, or the Ten of Pentacles reversed, family, business, or community, of dysfunction or loss, or perhaps misuse of money or funds. there's a transition of sharing with the Nine of Swords, suffering in silence, with the Page of Pentacles reversed, who may be a child in need of help or a missed opportunity, to detox with the Queen of Pentacles or get help from her, mother and child or siblings here, in their knowing about the King of Cups reversed, perhaps alcoholic or undependable. And the King of Cups reversed or dad can also be just conditions of love, and the Empress reversed or lack of abundance, or the Queen of Pentacles without her mother, or mother of Taurus reversed who's uninspired and without passion for the King of Wands shaman, challenged by destiny, Libra, and the Ten of Cups reversed, the unhappiness or ending of that cycle of unhappiness, the family of the King of Swords, uncomfortable with one-on-one connections, right? That's love and emotions and taking risks. An emotional issue, but financially strong, but without an excuse for the King of Pentacles. The King of Wands shaman energy and the Queen of Cups reversed, not seeing the same things the same way, with Taurus upright, but Sag, Leo, and Gemini all reversed. Pisces reversed and Cancer upright here at 836, the dance and the strength and the manifestation of your dreams, and the 36 of the Atlas, the weight of the world upon their shoulders. So best case scenario, maybe a mother with their daughter or multiple kids, or an emotionally happy one-to-one, but knowing their fire is challenged by destiny and the theory of everything. The King of Swords walking away from the King of Wands shaman because they're not on the same page about risk-taking and dissatisfied emotionally. But the Sovereign is defenseless to the King of Pentacles, father or older sibling, or one who is just like them. Or mother and daughter are fighting off the King of Wands, with the Queen of Swords mediating, or she's a lawyer, or getting them to come clean with each other. Only two in the family here of a big family may be close, and the rest kind of dysfunctional. The Page of Pentacles reversed and the Queen of Pentacles upright, and the Empress reversed. It's like the grandmother and the grandchild may be very similar, but then the daughter is the misfit in between, but she's upright. The King of Pentacles and the Sovereign connection, but there may be a lack of affection there, where they only bond through work or through finances. The Page of Pentacles reversed with the Empress reversed may have issues, or the Queen of Pentacles upright may have had a miscarriage and lost her mother, or she just can't get along with her child or her mother. They look cold, or the Queen of Pentacles or Taurus, but the King of Wands looks very warm and fuzzy, but doesn't like to be the center of attention or deal in information at 847, which is the strength of the dance and manifestation, and the 47 of synchronicities and heaven in their eyes and having choice, which also can be confusing. All right, so I know this is running long again, but it's okay. It is what it is. So let's go ahead and pull an animal deck card and see what comes up for them. We'll see if we have time for the Journey of Love, but I'll at least pull from the Animal Spirit Guidebook. All right, so, okay, spirits, take another deep breath. And one of my candles blew out. The other one's still going. What is our takeaway from all of this information that came up today for this read? And thank you for all this information. It was very profound for me. All right, so what do we need to take away from all of this? All right, the two cards are coming up, the Elephant and the Swan. Very, very profound. The elephant's holding the flame and the third eye for the twins. You know, this is like the root chakra, and here's the third eye. So the takeaway here is to focus on root to tip, right? The root issues, and to open up your third eye more. Regarding the twin relationship, the reflection of self. Ellie. And Ellie was coming up when we were on our trip, because we passed this. It was called Ellie's Cafe, but it said you can't enter unless you're over 21, and it had like shaded windows. So I'm like, what is that? Like, it looks like it's some kind of, you know, seedy salon or something. So we weren't going to go in initially because we didn't know what the heck it was, but we did finally peek in to see what it was, and it was like a little gambling cafe, which I hadn't seen those before. So we saw another thing called a cafe too, which was like, it's like a gambling place. They have slot machines in there. So we have Eli here, which is coming up for that, but also the Elohim is coming up with the L. And the swans, the Paramahamsa, who love each other no matter what. They always hug each other no matter what. They always let go to fix and mend no matter what. The elephant never forgets. And so they don't give them anything to hold on to. And you see how the swans are very, they're all in the blues and greens and yellows, which is the, the moderate energy of the center. It's not polarized from root. This is polarized root to tip, and this is the in-between energies of the throat, the heart, and the solar plexus. It's staying moderate. It's allowing the elephant to hold the polarities. It's like allowing the elephants and the whales to hold the polarities. And also this elephant's Indian and African. So there may still be a lot of polarity in India and Africa. And it's up to the twins to moderate. And that's another way of saying mediate, right? Africa and Asia. Very interesting. And that can have, that can then then overflow into the Middle East. So then we have the next two are the scorpion and the lizard, which are, not the nicest cards in the deck. The Scorpio's got his sting out, but it's like they're blending. It looks like the scorpion fits right into the lizard. Look at that. It's like they are the lizard. Look at that. So it's a shapeshifter. A Scorpio lizard here energy. That's weird. I'm just getting Liz. So Scorp connection, perhaps the name Liz is coming up here. Or Liza. Oh, that's weird. This is coming up as Liza Road. Lizard. Liza Road. Lizard. Oh, Lazar. That was coming. Lazar comes up as lizard as well. But not Lissar. But lizard is coming up as it's the dark reflection of that. But also this is scorpion shape-shifting going on here. Yeah. I'm getting like fitting, like it's the shape-shifting, right? But it's also like fitting into the mold. Fitting perfectly into the mold. But the scorpion is not a lizard. They're going inside the look of a lizard to infiltrate from within. Right? Scorpio is very good at that, going deep. But they got their stinger, but they're keeping it on the outside. As the rest of them goes within and gets disguised as a lizard. It's like going in amongst the dark energy in order to infiltrate. That's what I'm getting here. And there may be a peacock that they meet. Very interesting. And I feel like the peacock doesn't know what to make of them because they're not the lizard, they're this. But they want to come off as this to be seen in the environment. It's like going undercover, which is very scorpionic, right? Being the detective. And then they may meet this perfect person who's beautiful inside and out. And beautiful, there's blue, green, and yellow colors, which is those moderation colors. And very beautiful. It's very interesting the way that's coming up. So again, the elephant with the swans, the first one's out. And then someone going undercover into lizard territory. And meeting a beautiful, and meeting in the least likely of places is where you meet, right, that perfect one who's beautiful inside and out. But you have a disguise on. You can't be your true self. And it may be there may be some twins who are undercover, and that's why they couldn't come out to their twin. Obviously, that's not going to be for everybody, but definitely going to be for some. The bottom of the deck here is the crocodile. So again, there's that reptilian energy coming up with the lizard. And that reference of Nisara, Jasara, and Lasara may be a reference to the financial system infiltration. But it's not infiltration by the reptilian, it's infiltration the other way. Very interesting. And then we have these three together coming out too. The bear and the stingray and the unicorn. Being stung by a ray. There's a bee sting here. I know someone got stung by a bee, but I'm getting bee stung by a ray. The unicorn, it's like a positive thing. Allow the sting. Check this out. There's the bear, which references the hibernation, but also look how the cord is connecting with, I'm seeing like, you know, when you put two wires from the electric socket together, I'm getting this cord from the chakra system here of the stingray connecting to the horn of the unicorn, the way they were sitting like this. They connect. There's like a direct connect here through the horn, through the third eye, into the chakra system of the other. And this may be the way they infiltrate. It's saying to connect, you know how we always ground our chakra system into the earth? It's saying here they're grounded into the third eye of the other. It's like my safety pin thing. They're showing it in another way. The connection between the masculine and the feminine. The masculine's fully, this is the feminine, right? Because this is the collective awakening, and it's the feminine standing guard. They're already awakened. They've already gone through all their crap. And then here's like the masculine, fully activated with all of their chakras like magnified, right? All of a sudden tapping into the feminine's third eye. Perhaps seeing what they're seeing. And there's somebody, this is the bear is witnessing this. That's what I'm getting. All right, let's see what the journey of love has to say for you guys. What I'm getting is that shape-shifting stuff with the scorpion going inside the lizard I'm getting too. It's very hard to hide your light, right? If you're light inside the dark, it's very hard to hide your light. And like the light, the lizard's drawing the light because they're light, not because they're lizard, but they're disguised. I don't know how you're going to reference that for yourselves, but that's the energy I'm getting here. Let's see, from the journey of love, we have within nothing there is everything. The theory of everything is within nothing. The number 2 of the high priestess, the secret, the psychic abilities, and this is like the womb of Gaia underneath the ground. And then we also have simplicity here. Within nothing is everything, right? So the theory of everything is nothing. It's simple. The 2 of the high priestess and the 4 of the emperor, right? 1 of each world. The emperor of the 3D, the high priestess of the 5D, right? The feminine womb, and the masculine who's simple, right? So they would say the guys are simple and the feminines are complicated, which came up with the feminine yesterday as well. It just takes a blade of grass, and I don't know if this is a little piggy or a little mouse, and we have a bird. It's just very simple, a simple life. This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy had roast beef, and this little piggy had none. And this little piggy, the 5th little piggy, ran all the way, wee, 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 all the way home. I'm getting this little piggy's coming home. Oh, I was just getting Rocky Horror Picture Show. I'm coming home. I don't know how the tune of it is. It's like at the end of the movie, and Spirit's connecting with me. Where he's going home, right? Because he's not from here. He's going home to his planet. Damn it, Janet. And the next card is that. Damn it, Janet. Why'd you have to be so good? There's that energy of just for a moment, joy, 46 of the inner children. The feminine receiving the light, like the safety pin, goes through her and then into the masculine, and then the back of the pin is the masculine. Then it seals up the energy in the pi energy, but the phi energy just stays open. It's just one open stream of light that goes right from her into him, and no need for a vacuum. That was the new message today. And then we have another simple card, devotions to the small, the 32 on the journey, the feminine being devoted to the children. Okay. This is like keeping it simple with the womb and the child, the small, simple, the masculine being his inner child, and there's the divine feminine inner child. And her devotion to the small is her devotion to her inner child and her other. The 32 on the journey of the 46, the two children loving each other in a big hug, a permanent hug that they're always receiving now. The sun goes straight through her to him and doesn't need to seal and refill again. It's just a constant stream going through the two. It's like being the child in the womb. It's whatever she gets, he gets. Very interesting. And there's the womb again. The spiral dance of the goddess of 29, which is being present in the moment. But again, there's that energy of olive, but it's also kind of gangrene within the body, right? You don't want the inner body to look like this. But it's also referencing the pearl of the ovary and the egg and the strangulation of it, right? The cutting off of the supply, the air supply. So air supply may be coming up. But also, again, the ectopic pregnancy, perhaps. And then loving all that is with the 22 on the Fool's Journey, keeping your heart open no matter what and taking that leap of faith, holding the light even when it's not there, but you know it's there. The inner children loving each other perpetually. The bottom of the deck is the Christ flame. And there is the Jesus on the cross, always with Mary Magdalene. The 31 of today, that expansion energy of the phi, and beneath that, the legacy of his light. And this I always say is like Jesus holding a sleeping bag, but it's like a light, whereas he's holding someone who needs help over here and holding space over here, always for someone else. The 53 of the Knight of Swords, the messenger of truth, the catapult, the knight in shining armor, the legacy of light that is, of the Christ flame, of expansion in the pursuit of happiness, not of suffering. It's leaving the suffering. This is the underlying energy. It's leaving the suffering behind. Okay, so I do want to read you the Scorpion real quick because that was very significant coming up. Scorpion is coming up as fire. And the elephant's fire too. And the lizard. A lot of fire, guys. So Scorpion's passionate, competitive, tends toward isolation. The Scorpion's passionate and determined creature. Their career is very important to them, as are a few select friends. Sometimes the Scorpion's heat festers and they focus on unresolved event from the past, usually a situation where they were left feeling quote-unquote burned, which came up as a definition today. The Scorpion card says it's time to come clean about your feelings so everyone can heal and you can get back to your usual fiery but fun self. When in balance, they're wild and free and fierce, but when they're out of balance, they're jealous, resentful, and unresolved. To bring back into balance, honesty and forgiveness. But again, like I said, they're going into a lizard shape-shifting thing. It's also like, not being able to face the divine feminine. They're scared to face them directly, so they go into lizard mode to face the divine feminine. And then we have, and I'm getting crocodile smiles as well with the lizard. That is lizard energy, the crocodile smiles. All right, so let's see here. The first card out was number 2, which is within nothing, there's everything. From a point of stillness, a moment, a complete universe is opening up to you, endlessly expanding. Your every thought and intention sends ripples of consciousness through the universe. What a creative being you are. You're sending consciousness into motion, bringing your creation into being with every inner desire, with every whispered wish. The universe receives your yearning and aspirations with open arms, returning them to you as manifestation in your life. What is really in your heart? Open your arms, sigh, speak your heart's truth aloud to the loving universe and receive it as your destiny manifesting now. This oracle brings you a message. It was just 145 on the nose there with a lot of source energy behind the 45 of the purge, right? Because that's the grieving of loss, regret, guilt, and shame, letting go of that. In the magician embodiment at 229, being present in the moment to your gifts of your psychic abilities. This oracle brings you a message. Something that you want is on its way to you. It may seem to be coming out of nowhere, no sign on the horizon to give you hope, yet it is coming to you anyway. It is spiritual law that you cannot be denied the manifestation of your heart's desire. Trust and remain open to the tide of universal love rushing towards you, swelling within you now. The wind moves gently through trees, quiet water flows, life's song calls softly. Make sure to drink your water, get your rest, get your joy in your nature, or just do exactly what you want. Make sure to be good to yourselves, guys. Breathe and rise and be loved. See you soon. Bye.